You know, Dad, you gave me all the equipment. I still haven't figured out how to use the damn thing and tie a fly. Thanks a lot. Oh, hi, Dad. Glad you could come to the workshop. It's a great place to talk to you. Happy 81st birthday. I thought we'd have this, I'm too cheap to buy a card, so Lee was kind enough to do this videotape with me, and so I could tell you how much I love you and how much I appreciated everything you've done for not only me, but the rest of the family. I know you don't realize how much you've done for us, but it's been all those little things having to do with really leading by example.
Pennsylvania 6, 5,000.
Because we're in the workshop, I wanted to point out to you that I still have your bench that you had at Morgan Construction Company for 35 plus years, I think it was. For those who don't know and might be watching this, my dad was a pattern maker at Morgan Construction Company in Worcester, Mass. For many years. Actually, before that, he was a pattern maker in the Navy. He was also a pattern maker he learned at Boys Trade High School in Worcester. So he's had a long history of pattern making. And what you see to the side of me here is his pattern making bench. If we focus in on this corner here, you'll see that there's actually a section that's cut out, and that section is actually on a plaque that I gave my dad when he retired from Morgan Construction Company. It's sort of a lost art in some cases, the pattern making, unfortunately. But anyways, Dad, getting back to you, I really, you've been great to me over all of these years. Again, it's those little things that you may not recognize or remember that I remember, years later, and have helped me so much in my life. I can't tell you how often when I'm having an issue, even to this day, and I may ask a vice president or even a president of a company a question about something, maybe even life related, and then I turn around and I call you on the way home at night and I ask you, and how often you come up with either the same kind of conclusion or even a better answer. It just shows how knowledgeable you are in so many different areas. For those who don't know, my dad and I went fishing a lot when I was little. Dad always looked for things that he could do with me over the years, and fishing seemed to be one of those things that stuck to the point where I go fishing all the time. Many times it was fishing from shore, but then there was other times for a while there that we had a boat. He called it the tub, actually. It was a fiberglass boat that wasn't very big, but it was big enough that both of us could get it off the top of the car. The problem was, it was like a tub. If you banged it at all, it was maybe more like a drum. I think it would be better because it would go bong, and I think it would scare every fish from here to Connecticut.
Pennsylvania 6, 5,000.
Dad was always looking for things that we could do together, and he could spend time with me. I guess you could say quality time, where we could talk about everything and nothing and share thoughts and experiences. Something else he did as we built model airplanes, something that he was really good at, and you'll see a picture of that One of the early stories that him and his brother will tell is how they got in a fight one day, and his brother Dick found his plane that he had been working on. And he said, by the way, for those who don't know, these are what they call balsa wood planes. They're made out of very light wood called balsa wood, and they cut them and they shape them to the ribs of what a plane would be, and then cover it with a special paper and then a shellac over the top of it, which makes it so semi-hard. But you could put a finger right through it with no problem at all. But it makes them also very light and has a propeller on the front of it. And then him and his brother got into a fight one day. And the story is that my father went flying out to they lived on the first floor in a 3-decker apartment in Worcester on Preston Street. And he ran out to the front looking for his brother, only to hear his brother yelling Ronnie from the top of the 3-decker, and then seeing his plane that he had worked so hard on in flames. His brother had lit it on fire and then let it go with the propeller, and it just took off over the other 3-deckers on fire off into the distance, which obviously didn't make my dad real happy. Some of you watching this may have noticed I called him Ronnie, but you know him as Joe. For those who don't know the story, he was supposed to be named Ronnie. His mother wanted the name Ronnie, middle name Joseph. When he went to go get his driver's license, they realized that the city had messed up on his birth record, and his first name was actually Joseph. So his driver's license said that. When he went into the Navy, again, he had to go formal, so it had to be Joe. So half the world knows him as Joe, and the other half knows him as Ronnie. But you know, the balsa wood planes are an example of what we used to do. We also have something that I don't think a lot of people saw, but or have seen, and that is building planes and then having 2 wires come out of the one of the wings, and they would go to a handle-like device, 1 wire on the top, 1 wire on the bottom, and depending on if you move your hand this way or this way, the plane would go either up or down. You'd stand in the middle, and the plane would go around the circles. And your biggest problem was making sure you didn't get so dizzy that you fell down. The longer the lines, the less you have to spin, obviously. But that was a big deal. They could actually get 2 people standing side by side with 2 planes. I never did this. This is pretty fancy stuff. And then each plane would have a flag coming off of the back. And you would basically do dog fights going around in circles trying to cut the other one's flag off. So I saw that plenty of times, but I actually never did it. I never got that good. But recently I was talking to Dad, and he was laughing because he was saying how he would need parts and pieces and things, and money was tight in our family, and he was saying how, you know, it was interesting how many ways he found to hide money from my mother so he could go out and he could buy either fishing equipment or airplane equipment. So in any event, all of those things, Dad, are what you gave to me. Again, you just tried a lot of different things, and I would say fishing stuck, because I'll be out on a pond or a lake in the evening, especially watching the sun go down, the geese flying overhead, and thinking to myself, wow, you know, this is the gift. This is the gift my dad gave me, and no matter how bad the day is, or how difficult things are, there's nothing like being on the lake, and you're in a kayak or a canoe, and it's quiet as can be. You can't hear a thing, and you think of how beautiful it is. Debbie would say that I don't catch any fish, but you know, many times that's what it was about. It wasn't about catching the fish. It was about being outside, being with you, being able to share and talk about things that I maybe wouldn't have mentioned to my friends, but I maybe was in a quandary about something and I needed some help, and you were there. And sometimes being there just means not a forced situation, but a very comfortable situation. Of course, by the way, so those fishing trips, a lot of them occurred early in the morning. And I've never been good about getting up early in the morning. And I remember there was one time when I was a teenager and we were supposed to go fishing on some Saturday or Sunday morning. And when he came into the room to wake me up, I said, "Oh wow, it's that time already?" And he just looked at me, Dad, with a really disgusted face and said, "What do you mean that time already? I tried to wake you up early. You wouldn't move. I'm coming back from fishing." And you walked away and you were really ticked off at me. As ticked off as you could be anyway. But in any event, I think I woke up a little bit earlier the next time to be with you. And just enjoy what we all both enjoy. So thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you so much for all the time you've spent with me and giving me the opportunity to ask questions, to be with you, to be with me. And it was a time you took to be with me. So again, thank you. Happy 81st birthday. I love you. Bye now.